Well, and praying for that rain. Among those praying, the 100,000 people out of their homes, and already the fire has destroyed more than 5,000 homes and businesses, including many of the wineries that make Napa Valley famous and, of course, are the lifeblood of the economy there. Ray Signorello is one of the victims. He lost his family-owned business, the Signorello Estates in Napa, California. Joins us now on the phone to share his story. And Ray, for our viewers to understand, we are showing before and after pictures on the screen that you sent in of what has happened there. Was this even a thought on your radar of fire danger to your estate, or did this come out of nowhere?
Well, to be honest, we've had some fires in the area before, but nothing to this extent. So my first time hearing about this was Sunday night about 10:45, where my wife, Tanya, was actually at the property, staying at the property. I was actually out of town, and she frantically called me saying there was a fire on the ridge behind us and it was rapidly approaching the estate. Kind of my process was, we've had some fires before, but this was something different, fueled by a 50-mile-an-hour wind. And she ran out the door, grabbed a couple of things, literally with a few minutes to spare. My team showed up, my winemaking and vineyard team showed up to see what they could do. So they brought out the hoses, and there was no match for this fire. Within an hour, it was taken over, and the building was reduced to rubble, as you can see from the pictures.
We've heard that so many times in this fire, that people tried with hoses and with whatever they could, but this was just such an overwhelming fire. Any part of a rebuilding process in a community is the economy. What's happened to the wine economy in Napa? And you've got the wine economy, and that mixes, of course, with the tourism economy. Is it going to be years before you guys come back, or are there any silver lining to this to pull out of it?
Yeah, I'm looking to the silver lining, and a lot of the vineyards were intact. I mean, the vineyards actually acted as a fire break. So we, on our estate, lost almost nothing, just a few vines here and there. So that is the kind of the fuel, if you will, for the future of the business. And Napa Valley, it's quiet right now. Obviously, where there's the tourists aren't here, but that's really just a temporary situation as the fires are slowly being put out, and hopefully within the next week we'll have that mitigated. The place will be back to business. Most of Napa Valley is still intact.
Live pictures from Sonoma, California right now, the vineyard just over from Napa, the valley just over from Napa, where we're seeing that white smoke just billow and billow and billow. When people are sitting at home, what is it they can do? So many people have such a connection to Napa Valley, even if they haven't been, because they love the wine, they love the feeling, they love the beauty. Those of us who have been, especially to a place like yours that's so magnificent, it's really heartbreaking. Aside from buying more of your wine when it's on the shelves, what can be done to help, you think?
Well, just don't be scared from this situation. I mean, the fires will be put out, and we'll generally the Napa Valley will be back to business, so to speak, as normal in the near future. We see upwards of 4 million people a year in Napa Valley, and that really is the livelihood of all of our businesses here, not just the wineries, but the restaurants and the hotels. So that will, we'll get this behind us. We'll move on to the next chapter. There's a few wineries like mine that have sustained considerable, if not total damage, but we can rebuild the buildings. Obviously the first thought that goes through people's minds is, did you have anybody injured? I mean, to me, that's at our estate we didn't, so that's very important. And then, do we have the means to move forward? And in our case, our vineyards are intact. We have our wines that were in the tank that seem to escape damage, as well as one of our barrel cellars that had all the barrels in it. So we have the wine to sell going forward. Most of Napa Valley is intact, and between the tourism and continuing to support our wines through drinking the wines wherever you might be, I mean, that's really what's going to help us move along.
Well, Ray, you're a strong man, and what a privilege to talk to you, and somebody who is looking at this in the way that you are as we keep watching the fires burn in Sonoma now. Ray, our thoughts and prayers with you and our support as well over the next couple of years for sure. I'm sure there'll be people coming by to see you and say, we saw your interview and we wanted to come by and say hi. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Godspeed.